right, good morning, everyone. The September 12th, 2024 meeting of the Library's Education and Neighborhoods Committee will come to order. It's 9:31. I'm Maritza Rivera, Chair of the committee. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Wu.
Present.
Councilmember Moore.
Sorry, present.
Councilmember Hollingsworth. Councilmember Morales. Chair Rivera.
Present.
3 council members are present.
If there is no objection, the agenda will be adopted. Hearing no objection, the agenda is adopted. We will now open the hybrid public comment period. Public comment should relate to items on the agenda or within the purview of this committee. Clerk, how many speakers are signed up today?
We have 3 in-person speakers and 1 remote speaker signed up.
Thank you. May you please read the public comment can you please read the public comment instructions?
The public comment period will be moderated in the following manner. The public comment period is up to 20 minutes. Each speaker will have 2 minutes. Speakers will be called in order in which they registered. We will start with in-person speakers first, and then remote speakers until the public comment period has ended. Speakers will hear a chime when 10 seconds are left of their time. The public comment period is now open. We will begin with the first speaker on the list. The first in-person speaker is Bridget Hembry.
And I just want the record to reflect Councilmember Morales has joined us. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Bridget Hembry here on behalf of Marvin Anderson Architects.
Oh, sorry, one moment. I gotta start the timer.
Oh, okay.
Ready? Okay, Bridget, thank you.
I'm Bridget Hembry here on behalf of Marvin Anderson Architects and the owners of the Bloch residents, Mary Alice Pompucius and Walter Smith, whom we will help to designate their home as a City of Seattle landmark. They're attending virtually in support as well. As residential architects who focus on historic preservation, we have the benefit of working in many wonderful homes with rich histories. And within that context, the Bloch residence stands out as a true gem. It was built in 1908 by Billy Bloch, a genial immigrant and figurehead of Seattle's German community who ran the popular Germania Cafe on 2nd and Seneca. The home was the first commission of the architectural partnership Wilson and Lovelace. While Clayton D. Wilson was an established and competent local architect, Arthur Lovelace had arrived in Seattle mere months before the Bloch residence was designed, bringing with him a wealth of education and pure innate talent. Lovelace would go on to become one of the preeminent local architects. But in their work at Bloch, Wilson and Lovelace produced a magnificently well-ordered and skillfully decorated Tudor Revival home. What stands out the most about this home, though, is how little it has changed through 5 different owners. It's a testament to the architects that they created something timeless, which different families could build their lives in. But it also speaks highly of these owners who collectively recognized and protected its unique beauty. Mary Alice and Walter have now owned the home almost twice as long as the Blochs did, and they carefully honor their roles as stewards of the property. Landmarking the home to them was a way to protect this amazing place into the future, and we wholeheartedly support the ordinance to landmark the Bloch residence. Thank you.
Thank you, Bridget.
Our next speaker is Acha McMurray. Apologies if I said that wrong.
Hi, I'm Alan McMurray. I have terrible penmanship. I apologize.
You can use the taller mic if you'd like. Sorry.
I just use the tall one. I just have a few thanks to pass out. I'm here for the Cettolin House. I'm here with my wife, Marilyn. We're the owners. And we just wanted to thank Aaron and Sarah and their team at the Department of Neighborhoods and the Landmark Preservation Board. Deb Barker and Clay Eels. They are historical property superheroes in West Seattle. And David Peterson for representing us in our presentation to the Landmarks Board. And thanks to the City Council for carving out the time in their very busy agenda for this to go through today. Fausto and Irma came to this country with nothing but a willingness for hard work and determination. They met here, they found and created love, and they created a home and a family, children born, and they died there. We fell in love with the house. It was love at first sight. We've always noticed a special jewel, and we're thankful for this recognition and to protect it and to provide that knowledge for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next in-person speaker is Kiji Kelly.
I've been called a lot. My name's Kai Kelly. I'm the executive director of Historic Seattle. For 50 years now, we've saved meaningful places to foster lively communities. We have been curating for several years now a very lively community up on Beacon Hill at the Garden House. So I ask your support in saving that meaningful place through approving Council Bill 851, excuse me. I also want to give a quick shout out to Sarah and Aaron and the Landmark staff for all the work they consistently do. They constantly punch over their weight class, and I greatly appreciate their partnership in all things preservation in this city. And also I want to commend everyone that's here that's in support of, on their own behalf, for these meaningful places that deserve to be protected. So thank you.
Thank you.
Our first remote speaker is Oliver Miska. Speaker, please press *6 when you hear the prompt, "You have been unmuted."
Hi, my name is Oliver Miska. I'm a Seattle Public School educator, community organizer, journalist, and education policy advocate at the state legislature. I work with community organizations, students, educators, and parents on a couple of intersecting campaigns, and I'm here just to speak a little bit about each three of them. I'll start off around youth. During the mid-year budget cycle, council voted to defund student mental health by $7.75 million, nearly cutting the promise of in half of $20 million to students. One student recently published on Friday in the South Seattle Emerald, the Garfield ASB has had a minimal role regarding school safety decisions made by Mayor Harrell and the Superintendent Jones. This seems very inappropriate as we, the students, are the ones being affected the most by these decisions. Acting for us rather than with us makes the student body feel unheard and invalidated. The student voice was not centered in the decision making. We have been silenced at meetings, and our questions have been redirected to fit what community leaders want to hear. When we showed up with students last time, you told us that we were uninformed and performative, and that's simply unacceptable. When we're working with students every day in schools, do not make us drag them out here during the fall budget cycle, and don't tell us we're speaking for them when we're the ones working with them in schools, trying to get them through the dense walls of your hostile, condescending, and inaccessible bureaucracy. So look for a message from us around the students so that we can send our student voice in our school decision-making policies. And I look forward to speaking with y'all about that. Finally, SPS released the 2 options for school closures yesterday, and educators and expert advocates announced the People's Big 5 legislative priorities. As council considers priorities for the state, we will be submitting a formal demand for City Council to sign on to the Big 5 pledge, which already has Washington's own expert finance UW professor David Knight. Thank you for the time. These were my official notices.
Thank you.
We have one last remote speaker, Gio Napoli.
Hi there, this is Gio Napoli. I'm public comment here on 315 Seneca, the old Continental Hotel, and actually one of the owners, along with a couple of my partners, Colin and Curran Hagstrom. And I just wanted to talk about just the landmark designation here, and speak a couple words about the project itself. That's actually very personal for the three of us here, more of a passion project. we bought this building 3 years ago in 2021, coming out of COVID, when it was very taboo to buy anything in Seattle. And this building was defunct, vacant, non-operational, and just in need of a lot of love and care. And quite frankly, still does, because we haven't gotten the project started. But just wanted to say, it's been 3 years later. We still haven't started the project, but we're getting close, just given all the challenges we've incurred from permitting, design, cost, financial aspect. And, we're here to really restore the old world charm of this building and kind of do our part to help revitalize the downtown. And, logically speaking, from an investment standpoint, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but the three of us, along with our team, feel that it will be a success. And having this landmark designation to get the tax credits for the building, which we will reinvest into the building for the renovation, it's not only crucial for the success of the building, but for the survival of the building. And hopefully it inspires other local business owners and landlords to do the same, to reinvest back into the city and help with the revitalization. So I just wanted to thank everyone's time and consideration.
Thank you. There are no additional registered speakers, so now we'll proceed to our items of business. There are 33 items of business on today's agenda, but don't be alarmed, most of these are appointments. And then there's some landmark designations. And actually I wanted to address something by way of clarification, because this is the Education Committee, is that Seattle Public Schools is not under the purview of the City of Seattle. Seattle Public Schools is its own entity. Education and Seattle Public Schools is under the purview of Washington State. And that is a really important clarification, because I understand that Seattle Public Schools is going through their process on what they are going to do about their budget deficit. And so it is not something that the City of Seattle has purview over. So wanted to make sure to clarify, because it is, in some cities do have purview over the school districts, but not in Seattle. And I want to make sure that folks know where to go when they have questions. They should go to Seattle Public Schools and obviously the state Office of Instruction. So, okay. Thank you for letting me clarify that. Now, our first presentation, we have Chief Librarian Tom Fay from the Seattle Public Library presenting on their 2024 mid-year update. As he's coming up, I'll say we will also hear from the Department of Neighborhoods, Aaron Doherty and Sarah Sott on historic preservation and landmark designation legislation. Following the presentation, we will vote on each landmark designation. The Landmarks Preservation Board is responsible for designating landmarks. Once they designate a landmark, the Department of Neighborhoods negotiates an agreement with the property owner, agreeing to controls on how that designated property can be changed in the future. And following these presentations and votes, the Department of Neighborhoods will address 5 reappointments to the Landmark Preservation Board, 2 new appointments, as well as 1 reappointment to the Community Involvement Commission, and a very exciting 15 new appointments to the Seattle Youth Commission. I want to thank both Chief Fay and the Department of Neighborhoods team for coming to council today to present. Clerk, will you please read today's first item into the record?
Agenda Item 1, the Seattle Public Library 2024 Mid-Year Update.
Thank you, Clerk. This item has been read into the record. Before we speak, I want to acknowledge that Chief Fay will be traveling to Washington, D.C. today to speak at the White House. 5 branches of the Seattle Public Library are getting recognition and FEMA award for their preparation for their extreme heat preparation. So given that, we're going to start off with his presentation so he can go off to Washington, D.C. Thank you. We're very proud you'll be representing us, Chief, in D.C. at the White House. So please introduce yourself for the record, and then we can learn more about what the Seattle Public Library has been working on this year.
Great, thank you. I'm Tom Fay, Chief Librarian and Executive Director of the Seattle Public Library. Thank you for the kind words, Chair Rivera, and thank you, committee members, for allowing us to present to you today. So today I'll be providing an update on the cybersecurity event that impacted the library throughout the summer, as well as the development of our 10-year strategic plan and a preview of our new fall hours schedule that will go into effect later in the month. I'll spend the majority of my time today providing an update on our recovery from the ransomware attack that occurred earlier in the year. And as many of you know, over Memorial Day, Saturday, May 25th, we were alerted by unusual activity was occurring on our network. This cybersecurity event, we would quickly learn, was in fact a ransomware attack. And for those who might not know, ransomware is a type of malicious software or malware that prevents access to your systems through an encryption process. The bad actors who conduct these criminal acts typically demand a ransom in return for restoration of services. In response to this act, our IT staff shut down all library systems to prevent the breach from spreading and worked with our partners at Seattle IT to sever our connections with the city systems to ensure that this event was contained. We then formed a cross-divisional critical response team to determine next steps and provide leadership and guidance throughout the impacts of the event. We engaged cybersecurity consultants with expertise in these types of events to assure that we were taking the appropriate corrective actions to secure our environment. The Seattle Police Department and the FBI were both informed about the event, and we began using the secure communication platforms that we had available to us to share information with our staff and our patrons the best we could in the very early days. We were able to determine some facts early. We understood this was not likely going to be a short fix. We had similar precedent-setting events with the British Library and the Toronto Public Library. And I do want to acknowledge Toronto Public Library were there for me on a call Sunday morning with the executive director of Toronto Public. She had our teams talking with her teams by Sunday afternoon. So really want to thank them for their help and assistance and guidance since they had already been through this as well. We also understood that this would mean books would start piling up and we would be storing large amounts of materials. A specific timeline for recovery was not going to be clear due to the various ways these attacks play out from organization to organization. But we decided early that it was important to keep our buildings open as scheduled. Beyond our technology-reliant services, we had plenty of shelves full of books, DVDs, and other items in our branches and at the Central Library. We had community programs planned that could be run without the use of computers. We had mobile services that could still deliver to all of the places and all of the stops that we go to. And importantly, we had 27 safe and welcoming spaces that members of the public could use as refuge from the extreme heat and warm weather of this summer. We also understood that we needed to quickly establish interim processes to ensure library staff had access to the information, schedules, and timesheets. It was all hands on deck to make this happen. Once we understood the scale of the incident and the impacts to the staff and the patrons, it was time to relearn how to operate as a mostly offline agency. To communicate with staff, we deployed the use of our phone tree, repurposed our inclement weather lines to provide updates to them, and developed an entire print newsletter that we delivered to all locations twice a week, physically delivered to each location. At many branches, dry erase whiteboards became the new intranet. Many signs were posted regarding our technology outage, and our reading spaces were more quiet than usual. Staff were creative in finding ways to help patrons and each other. One Central Library staff member even brought out a vintage typewriter to help with manual checkouts. As we operated in the offline mode with the public, we worked in the background to harden our systems so that we could begin bringing services back confidently. This work was significant, and our IT staff worked around the clock to make this happen. On top of this particular issue, we also were faced with the CrowdStrike issue, and were impacted by that. We want to thank and are very grateful for the assistance of Seattle IT, who actually sent many of their staff over to help us re-image all those computers in about 72 hours. We couldn't have done it without them in that time frame, and we greatly appreciate it. Prior to this attack, our team had already been working to improve security, so this event most certainly expedited many of those. For example, the implementation of multi-factor authentication and resetting of all passwords had already been on the table to be done this summer. But instead of it taking weeks, it took 3 days. And we were able to get staff trained and ready for that use of technology. The expedited timeline made communication, training, and troubleshooting of issues extremely challenging. But thanks to the dedication of our entire staff, we did get it done. The work created the foundation for us to then develop a service recovery plan and to ensure the smoothest possible experience for our patrons in a difficult situation. It was critical that services be brought back on in a specific order. We have many individual systems and processes that are integrated and dependent upon each other. For example, as the weeks went on, our maintenance and operations center in Georgetown was piling up with the returned books and other physical materials. And we were unable to check those in at that time, which meant that they couldn't be returned to shelves. So before we could turn on our library catalog and give it back to our patrons, we needed to process through all of those backlog materials. Because a library catalog is not much if the materials are not available to check out. So our materials distribution staff were absolutely amazing in working through enormous bins, and I do mean enormous. You would have to see these to appreciate how large these bins are, and getting all of these materials back to the branches where they belonged. And of course, the branch staff who then had to process all that, shelve all that, they took care of that very quickly as we were able to restore those items to the shelves. We also restored dozens of individual computer systems and services, including our website, access to ebooks and e-audiobooks, library card applications, access to the catalog, in-building Wi-Fi, access to printing, scanning, streaming services, and much more. Throughout our recovery, we kept patrons informed of our progress on our blog, our website, once it was back online, and our social media platforms. We are very happy to share that last week we were at full recovery. All services are back online following the restoration of access to our public computers and our 24/7 pickup lockers. One area we continue to work on is investigating the data impacts. We are working with a forensic specialist consulting firm to examine the data these threat actors may have accessed. It's extremely time-consuming and intricate work that will take another few weeks. Once they've completed their examination of this data, we will be presented with the findings report. We hope to have that information by next month. If findings indicate that personal information was affected, impacted individuals will be notified. To ensure transparency about the event that has occurred and how we have responded, we are now conducting an after-action review with a third party, and that detailed report will come out, and we will be providing that to you and also making it available publicly. We know this report will also provide information about the consultants we engaged and the costs of this recovery effort. We hope the report will be useful to others, as we have seen firsthand in our community that cybersecurity incidents are on the rise. Since the ransomware attack impacted the library just over 3 months ago, we've seen cybersecurity incidents impact the Port of Seattle and Highline schools, as well as many other entities throughout the country. So once this is complete, we'll make sure that you have this available for your immediate review. I'll take some questions about the ransomware at the end of this. I wanted to also provide a brief update on our library strategic planning development. And as you know, cybersecurity is just one challenge that the library has been discussing and preparing for as we consider the next 10 years. We've also been actively working to respond to the digital divide, climate change impacts, social and cultural shifts, increases in censorship attempts, changes in reader habits, and much more. In this plan, we seek, as a library system, to help our community address these challenges while also seeking to improve community literacy outcomes, particularly for vulnerable people in marginalized communities, support personal empowerment and enrichment, champion belonging and inclusion, and build our organizational resiliency. We believe that we are well suited to serve as a community hub and connector, serving as an important antidote to the loneliness and isolation crisis that began with COVID-19. It's a deep and rich plan that was developed thanks to the participation of dozens of community organizations, as well as our patrons and our staff. It lays the groundwork for the development of our 2026 levy proposal, and a final copy is expected to go to our Library Board of Trustees for their consideration in mid-October. Lastly, I also want to share that yesterday, I'm very happy to say this, we announced a new fall hours schedule to take effect on Wednesday, September 25th. I believe you all received a copy of this new schedule as well. We have been able to increase and stabilize our staffing levels to accommodate an increase of hours at some location. This includes restoring weekend hours at Columbia, International District Chinatown, Lake City, and Northgate branches, restoring an open day at Madrona Sally Goldmark branch, and restoring some evening hours at the Montlake branch. We're also making minor adjustments to daily schedules at some branches, including several in our Southeast service region to accommodate after-school and weekend access needs of our patrons at those locations. We look forward to serving students and their families throughout the school year, and will continue to look for opportunities to increase hours as staffing allows. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Chief Fay. And I want to commend you for how you handled the ransomware attack. You and your team did a great job. I will say Chief Fay and I were in communication often about this. There was a lot we couldn't say because of the nature of the crime, and so just because we weren't able to talk about it doesn't mean that behind the scenes we weren't in constant contact. Chief Fay was very responsive, and I feel really proud of how he handled that event and his staff as well. So wanted to really commend you for that, and your staff, please share that with your staff. Colleagues, do you have any questions about either the ransomware attack or the strategic plan? Councilmember Morales?
Yeah, thank you. I don't have questions, but I really appreciate having a little bit more detail and understanding all the steps that you went through. It is really concerning that, as you said, the ports, the Highline schools, like this seems to be becoming a more regular occurrence. I guess if there's one silver lining, it's that you were able to reach out to Toronto and get some really quick help from them because they had been through it already. And so appreciate you doing that and taking advantage of the opportunity to learn from them. I guess, I don't know if there is an answer to this question, but how confident are you that you might either be able to prevent something like this from happening again or be able to deploy the right resources to respond next time?
So I feel much more confident in that. Now, the one thing you can never say about cyber attacks is that anyone is 100% covered. It's impossible. These people, that's all they do all day is try to break systems and find ways in. But I feel really good about the fact that even in those first moments that this was occurring, our intrusion detection, our security systems that we had already been putting in place and hardening were finding it. It is that work that we had already done that made this, it's not an insignificant event, but a lesser event than it could have been. Mm-hmm. And so I think as we went through and now have hardened systems even more with things like multi-factor authentication, that's a key. I mean, you've got to have that because that will prevent many, many things. Not all, but with that, I feel much better of where we're at. And that's why when we we provide this report, the after-action review, we want to be very clear about the things that where we were at, what could have been done, what should have been done, and then also what have we done to make things better so people have trust in their library system that their information is secure.
The only other thing I'll say is it was exciting to see that Columbia City and CID libraries will get their weekend hours back, so thank you very much for that. I think we all know libraries are one of the few third places we have in our communities where people can go for free and get access to incredible resources and librarians and programming and know that they're safe. So really glad to see that, and thank you. And thank your whole team for the work that you do.
Will do, thank you.
Councilmember Moore?
Thank you, Chair. I too just wanted to say thank you so much for the incredible work and turnaround. I mean, it's just absolutely abhorrent that people would be targeting and cyber attacking libraries because they are such a fundamental support for so many in our community. So I really, really appreciate the struggle and how quickly you dealt with it. I worked at my district hours out of the Lake City Customer Service Center just next to the Lake City Library branch. And I have seen, you know, how well the librarians there have been able to pivot and ensure that they are able to serve the community that relies on them. And that is very much an underserved community that is a critical resource across the board for our community. So I just really commend their daily commitment and resilience, really. So thank you. And if you could share that with them, that would be wonderful. And I too want to say it, I'm thrilled to see that Lake City will be getting back its Sunday hours and that Northgate is going to be reopening on Saturday soon. So again, also another underserved community that really relies on that access for a variety of reasons. So thank you so much. Really appreciate that.
Thank you, Councilmember Moore. Colleagues, any other questions? Seeing none, I will ask a question. Chief Fee, I didn't hear a mention of the Northeast branch, and so what are the hours at the Northeast branch going to remain what they are? Or where will there be expansion and any impacts?
Let me look and see if I've got any of, I don't think I have the absolute detail here for Northeast. So I'll have to get back to you on that one.
Perfect, and then I can reach out to the constituents after that. Thank you so much, Chief Fay. Again, thank you for all that you and your team are doing. We love libraries for many reasons. And we really appreciate all the hard work, especially during a very difficult time. And thank you for representing Seattle in Washington, D.C., and the other Washington.
All right, thank you. And thank you for your support.
Will the clerk please read today's second item into the agenda? Into the record. Second agenda item into the record.
Agenda item 2, landmark designation, historic preservation presentation.
Thank you, clerk. We're joined today by Aaron Doherty and Sarah Sott from the Department of Neighborhoods, who will present the 8 landmark designations before we move on to the votes. Thank you for being here. Colleagues, have Aaron and Sarah present all of the 8 designations. There will be an opportunity for questions, any discussion, and then we're just going to go right and run through the votes. So thank you for being here, Aaron and Sarah. Please introduce yourselves for the record, and then we can hear about the designations. Very exciting.
Thank you, Councilmember Rivera. I'm Sarah Sote, and I'm the city's Historic Preservation Officer, and the Historic Preservation Program is housed in the Department of Neighborhoods.
Good morning. Erin Doherty with Department of Neighborhoods, and I'm a coordinator for the Landmarks Preservation Program. So thank you for having us today. We do have 8 pieces of legislation for 8 different landmark properties, and the order of the presentation slides are different than the agenda. So we wanted to know if it was okay to present them in that order, or if you would like us to follow the agenda order.
I think it's fine.
Okay.
Just as long as we're going to get to all of them, so
Yes,
I
we're
think
going to
that's
be
fine.
very
And we're going to be
quick.
Yes. Thank
So-
you so much.
Normally, we would do longer history, but instead, we're going to give you a minute or two for each one of these and just go pretty quickly. So we bring with us each time the designation standards. We won't read them all here, but they're here for people's reference. Standards A through F, and the Landmarks Board considers these when they're looking at any new potential landmark. They need to pick only one of them, but many times they choose more than one. They also need to determine that a property has integrity or the ability to convey its historic significance. So we can return to any of those if that's helpful. So we're going to start today by saying that each of these is to codify the language of a signed controls and incentives agreement that was done between the property owner and the City Historic Preservation Officer, Sarasota. And we're going to begin with Bloch House. So the
Erin,
owners.
sorry, before you continue, would you mind telling everyone how a place gets to be designated? Who can, how does that process start?
Sure, just really quickly, anyone can submit a landmark nomination. So it could be the property owner, a community member, a tenant, really anyone. I think, and we can point out, for each of these how it came to us, but really anyone can submit.
Thank you. And they submitted to the Landmark Preservation?
Yes, it gets
Board.
submitted to the Landmarks Board, and then we review it as staff and schedule it for a board meeting for nomination. If the board nominates it, it goes to a designation meeting, and then if the board designates it, it comes to the controls and incentives negotiation period, which Erin just described, and then here to council. And I should note, at any time when either the board doesn't nominate or doesn't designate, the proceedings terminate, and no one can submit a nomination for another 5-year period. And for public schools, it's a 10-year period.
Thank you, Sarah. Go ahead.
Okay. So this is the Bloch House. Owners Mary Alice Pomputius and Walter Smith nominated the property, and the application was authored by local architectural historians Bridget Hembry, who you heard from in public comment, and Marvin Anderson. This is located at 1439 East Prospect Street in Capitol Hill. It was designated by the Landmarks Board on December 6, 2023, under standards C, D, and E. So that's cultural significance, architectural, and recognizing the architectural the design and builders. The features the board chose were the site, the exterior of the house, and numerous parts of the interior, and that was a list of areas that were supported by the property owner. It was built in 1908 by architects Clayton Williams and Arthur Lovelace. So it's a Tudor Revival residence. It was the home of William and Minna Bloch. And I'll thank Bridget. She already gave a fairly detailed part of the history, so I won't repeat that in the interest of time. But the owners of this property were sort of beloved business owners, but were on the receiving end of anti-German sentiment leading up to World War I, and trying to run a business that was serving alcohol during a time of Prohibition. So they are on the receiving end of a lot of opposition, shall we say. So they did ultimately sell their home in 1918, only lived there 10 years. So the architectural character, I think, of the home is pretty clear in this case. So the next property is the Cettolin House. The owners, Marilyn Kennel and Alan McMurray, are here today, and Alan spoke earlier. They nominated the property, and the application was authored by local historian David Peterson. I also want to note and thank the youngest of the Cettolin children. Her name is Virginia. She's now Sister Mary Cabrini. She was a major contributor to the content of the landmark nomination report, providing extensive history and photographs to help document her family and the property. So this property is 4022 32nd Avenue Southwest. This is in the Youngstown part of the Delridge neighborhood. This was designated by the board on April 19th, 2023, under standards C, D, and E, similar to the last property, even though you can see the scale of it is quite, it's much smaller, much more modest home. The board designated the site, the exterior of the house, and the interior terrazzo floors, which are really quite beautiful. This was built between 1926 and 1939, and that's essentially continuous construction. It was designed and built by Fausto Cettolini. He was the original owner of the home, along with his wife, Irma, and they lived there with their 6 children. The Cettolins emigrated to the United States from Italy, meeting each other in Seattle around 1920. Mr. Cettolin was a skilled mason, and he built the entire home by himself when he wasn't working at the nearby Bethlehem steel mill, where he was an open hearth boss for 40 years. So he did this in his spare time. The house was not yet complete, but they moved in with their 3 youngest children in 1929, and he continued to work on the house while they were living in it, completing the exterior over the following decade. And then he worked on the home until the mid-1940s. And then over the next 20 years, Mr. Cettolin worked to transform the entire landscape. This was once a triple parcel lot. And the house is the Italian Renaissance Revival style, modeling it after where he grew up. And although it appears to be 1 story from the street, you can see the picture on the lower right is the back of the house, and it's actually a 3-story home. And this is where it is. You can actually see the steel mill vicinity just to the northeast, so he was walking to work each day. The next property is the Beacon Hill Garden House. This landmark nomination was made by the Beacon Arts Board. The authors of the nomination were local historians Northwest Vernacular, and the current owner is Historic Seattle, and you heard from Kai Kelly here earlier today. This is at 2336 15th Avenue South. It was designated by the Landmarks Board on April 3rd, 2019, under standards C, D, and F. So cultural significance, architecture, and then essentially what is a visual landmark, something that stands apart either by virtue of scale or age. And those were the standards selected by the board. They designated the site, the exterior of the house, excluding an addition on the north side from 2006, and they included the main interior staircase. It was built in 1886 by a Beacon Hill carpenter named J.D. Duncan. The property was first constructed as a private residence in the Italianate style. You'll see that the lower right is what the house originally looked like. And then it had major exterior remodeling sometime between 1906 and 1916 to make the house look more Queen Anne in style. In 1924, the property was purchased and converted into the Jefferson Parks Ladies Improvement Club, and they operated there for 50 years, and then gifted the property to the Washington State Federation of Garden Clubs in 1977. The Garden Club remained there until 2018 when they sold the property. And in this collective 9-decade period, the site hosted community meetings and special events for a whole variety of organizations in the neighborhood.
So I have the next, it's the Continental Hotel. So this nomination was submitted by Colin Hagstrom and his partners. You heard some of the public comment describing that. And the application was authored by local architectural historian Susan Boyle. So the Continental Hotel is located at 315 Seneca Street. It was designated in March of 2023 by the board under standards C and D. The controlled features are the exterior of the building. This hotel was built in 1926 and was designed by the team of Stewart and Wheatley architects. The original hotel design was had really eclectic Art Deco skyscraper style, along with some Gothic revival decorative elements, which is pretty typical of a lot of buildings in Seattle. They're no one high style, multiple different types of elements. And it has expressive terracotta decoration, and it's really persisted in a pretty good condition over much of its lifetime. The owners of this have received a certificate of approval from the Landmarks Preservation Board that I actually was able to review administratively, given some legislation that the council passed in 2023, allowing streamlined staff review. So they have our approval, and hopefully they're able to pursue and get the permits they need. And then if the council designates, then they will able to be get some tax credits. So we're excited for this project. It's a great one, and that's what I have for you.
Okay. Next, we have University Washington Anderson Hall. University of Washington made this nomination, and it was prepared by local historians Northwest Vernacular. It's located on the main central campus at 3715 West Stevens Way Northeast. It was designated by the Landmarks Board on December 21, 2022, under standards C, D, and E. The controlled features include a portion of the site that's immediate to the perimeter of the building exterior, and some portions of the interior, which include sort of the more public utilized spaces like the gathering spaces and historic stairs and lobby. Oops. This was built in 1925 by architects Bebb and Gould. It was designed as the home of the School of Forestry, and it still is today, although they also occupy two other buildings directly to the south. The architectural language of the building is compatible with the established collegiate Gothic style of the central campus, and the architects are both notable to the city of Seattle, but they were also the campus architects at that time and designed 28 buildings on the campus. They also were responsible for the 1915 sort of master plan of the campus that influenced the design there for the next 40 years. Next, we have former Fire Station 26. This is in South Park at 8201 10th Avenue South. This nomination was made by the Duwamish Valley Neighborhood Preservation Coalition, and the local historians Northwest Vernacular wrote this nomination document. This building is owned by FAS, and today it is the South Park Neighborhood Center. So although it was historically a fire station, it doesn't, and still sort of looks like a fire station in many ways, it is no longer serving that purpose. This was designated by the Landmarks Board on April 6, 2022, under standards C and D. They included the exterior of the 1920 building and a portion of the site, so essentially the 4 lots on which the building sits. The board did not include the more contemporary social hall that's built to the south. So this Mission Revival style building was designed in 1920 to replace another fire station that was on the same site because the city had built a new fire station in another part of South Park. So in 1976, the subject building was decommissioned and converted into the neighborhood center. The collective work that's done there today includes the South Park Senior Center and a food and clothing bank. Villa Comunitaria, which is a Latino-led organization, has operated here for the last decade and provides community assistance for housing, health, education, and legal matters, helping to support people seeking citizenship. Okay, next we have the Georgetown Steam Plant Pump House. This is owned by Seattle Parks and Recreation, and they prepared this nomination themselves, but it sort of started with a community member, but they took it on, and they got some assistance from Seattle City Light's cultural resource specialist, because this used to be owned by City Light. And many people may have not seen this little building before unless they've been on the waterway, and then you can see it and you wonder what it is. So it's actually underground. It was tied to the main steam plant building that many people know in Georgetown. You can see that from I-5. This is located at 7551 8th Avenue South, right along the Duwamish Waterway, across from South Park. It was designated by the board on December 18th, 2019, under standards A, C, and F. And A for a historic event, which is an important part of its history, and that's the entire rechannelization of the Duwamish River to become the Duwamish Waterway. So the board designated the site, the waterside bulkhead, the exterior and interior of the pump house, including all the equipment, and the exterior of the valve house and the equipment inside. This was built in 1916 by Stone and Webster Engineering. And the reason it was built was because of the rechannelization. So if you go to Georgetown to the big steam plant that's there, they have tours of it. The waterway used to come right up to the south end of the building. But when they rechanneled the entire river and took 9 miles out of it, they basically took the water source away from the steam plant, and they can't create steam without water. So they had to build this, after the rechannelization of the waterway, they had to build this building to reconnect it to the water source. So there was a pipe that took water to the steam plant, and then these underground flumes that brought it back to the waterway. So the board recognized the history of the steam plant and its technology, but also they wanted to represent this indelible mark that industry made on the landscape of the Duwamish Valley and all the people that lived there that were displaced. So it was a major engineering undertaking, but it has a major negative impact on everyone who lived in the valley. And lastly, we have the East Pine Substation. This is located at 1501 23rd Avenue. This is a property owned by Seattle City Light. It is a functioning substation. And the local historians Bola Architecture and Planning prepared this nomination. This was designated by the board on May 2nd, 2018, under standards D, E, and F. They included the site and built features. They excluded the entire switchyard, which is all of the operating equipment that serves the substation that is not part of it. So this was built in 1967 by local architect Fred Bassetti with some assistance from local landscape architect Richard Haig. When it was first built, it was part of a new approach to better integrate utility and service facilities into the residential neighborhood, and actually had a small play area and some other features that are no longer intact. But this is considered brutalist architecture, which was common of the late 60s and 70s. And although some people don't appreciate it today, the design, it was highly praised at the time for its innovation and the structural system that was used to create the wall. And it received several design awards, both locally, regionally, and the national level. So that's a lot of talking, but that is all 8.
Thank you so much, Aaron and Sarah. And thank you for the history lesson on these properties today. And I have to say, I actually drove by this East Pine Substation the other day. And because we had talked about it, I noted it. I don't think I've driven by there before. So it's really great to get these presentations and get to know about the history of some of the buildings in Seattle. And when we drive by, we can say, oh, I know about that building, which is very cool. Colleagues, do you have any questions? And I will say now is the time to ask any questions about these properties. Because we cannot vote in block, we're going to vote one by one, but I'd like to run through it. So if you have any questions at all, now is the time. Councilmember Morales, I see you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for this. This is always interesting to hear the history of these buildings and the people who lived, worked, or helped build them. I have a question about, well, first I have to say, I don't know that I've noticed the pump house itself. The steam plant obviously is a landmark in Georgetown, and if you haven't been to the haunted Georgetown history tour through that steam plant, you should go. I do have a question about, let me figure out that, the Cettolin House, 120852 in Delridge. My understanding is that, it's such a beautiful building. My understanding is that this is potentially in the future Delridge transit station area. So do you know if, I'm assuming Sound Transit is aware of this, but what is the relationship, or like what is the impact of this being landmarked if this ends up being a transit station area?
That's a really good question. So right now, the city is a consulting party to Sound Transit's Section 106 of the National Historic Preservation Act process, because the project is a federal undertaking. So that process really looks at whether something is eligible to the National Register or is on the National Register. And I think this property has been determined eligible. We don't manage the National Register, so I'm not totally up to date. It might even be a National Register landmark. So really the fact that it's a city landmark is taken into account, but it's really the fact of its National Register eligibility that the feds take into consideration when looking at adverse impacts and then subsequent mitigation. And so that's a process that we're going through right now, and the property owners are also a consulting party on that continuing conversation.
So they're aware, I'm sure,
Yes,
that that's
absolutely.
a potential issue
Sorry,
for
that
them.
was
Yeah.
a long answer to your question, but it's a complicated process.
Okay, fair enough. The only other thing I wanted to say is that I'm really happy to see the Garden House on here. I've been to many community events at that incredible space. The garden is gorgeous. The inside is gorgeous. And glad to see Historic Preservation, Historic Seattle is able to move this forward. This has been a long time coming, I know. So great, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, of course, Councilmember Morales. I want to say in the context of your question that when something gets designated, then, and Sarah and Aaron mentioned this, the property owners work with the Historic Preservation Board to come up with what they call controls, and that is what you can do to the property via its designation. And that means any future potential changes would have to abide by the controls set in place. But then there's also conversation. That just means that if there is a future change, it would go back to the Historic Preservation Board for conversation about what is allowable or not given the designation. So I say all that to say that doesn't mean there can't be a future change. What it puts into place is you have to go back to the Historic Preservation Board, and there has to be a negotiation about what can happen. And then the Historic Preservation Board would, designate what can if that change that is being requested can happen. So that's how this works. So thank you for the question, because it prompted further explanation on how the process works. Councilmember Wu and Moore, I see you both have your hands up, and I'm sorry, I don't know which one had your hands up first, so I'm just gonna go with Councilmember Wu and then Councilmember Moore.
Thank you. So I'm really excited to see so many historic landmarks get designated. I'm sure many of you have know or don't know. I used to serve on the King County Landmarks Commission. I also have been engaged in the process of landmarking and getting historic tax credits for the Louisa Hotel. And so I'm very excited to see that, this is a labor of love, because the costs associated is just so much more when it comes to preservation of our landmarks, historic buildings. Cost is 3 times more. Back when I was renovating the building, I'm sure it's much more now. But it's just so exciting to see the love and the care for preserving our history and making sure that legacy is there for future generations. And also really excited to see that so many of these buildings I've been in, I've trick-or-treated at, or have walked by often, to be able to be saved. And that so excited to see groups like Historic Seattle, Northwest Vernacular engage in this process, and all the individual homeowners, building owners who really do care about the preservation, because it's really, no one's going to care as much as you do. And the fact that you're working hard and spending time and money to preserve these buildings is just so amazing. So I want to just say thank you, and I'm so very excited to see these, and I will be voting in support of all of them.
Thank you, Councilmember Wu. And we should also say that sometimes property owners nominate their building to be designated, because then they're able to get some tax credits so that they're able to put in the work, the costly work, as Councilmember Wu said, of repairing and keeping those buildings up to date. Councilmember Moore?
Oh, thank you, Chair. Yeah, I just wanted to express my excitement really at seeing these things, these places being designated and being preserved. It's just so incredibly important that we preserve our history. I think it's very grounding for our community, and being on the West Coast, which is such a young community in sort of global and even national terms. I think it serves an important, as I said, grounding, and allows us to remain connected to our history, which is important. So, and also all the different architectural styles are very educational, and the Rich Haig station, you know, being able to be aware of what those the conflicts and controversies were at that time also, I think, helps inform future discussions. So thank you to everyone for doing all of this work. I know it's very intensive, and I too will look forward to voting in favor of these designations. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Moore. Colleagues, any other questions? Then I just want to recognize, actually, we have in the audience a representative from the University of Washington, which has one of the buildings here, Anderson Hall, and it happens to be in the district I represent. All of University of Washington is a beautiful campus, and so this is very exciting for our neighborhood, or for our district. Okay, then, seeing no further questions, let's run through these votes one at a time. Clerk, will you please read agenda item 3 into the record?
Agenda item 3, Council Bill 120479, an ordinance relating to historic preservation, imposing controls upon the East Pine Substation, a landmark designated by the Landmarks Preservation Board under Chapter 2512 of the Seattle Municipal Code, and adding it to the table of historical landmarks contained in Chapter 2532 of the Seattle Municipal Code.
Thank you. I move that the committee recommend passage of Council Bill 120479. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to recommend passage of Council Bill 120479. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Wu.
Yes.
Councilmember Moore.
Aye.
Councilmember Hollingsworth.
Yes.
Councilmember Morales.
Yes.
Chair Rivera.
Aye.
5 in favor and none opposed.
The motion carries, and the committee recommendation that council adopt Council Bill 120479 will be sent to the September 17th City Council meeting. Will the clerk please read agenda item 4 into the record?
Agenda item 4, Council Bill 120480, an ordinance relating to the historic preservation, imposing controls upon the Georgetown Steam Plant Pump House, a landmark designated by the Landmarks Preservation Board under Chapter 2512 of the Seattle Municipal Code, and adding it to the table of historical landmarks contained in Chapter 2532 of the Seattle Municipal Code.
I move that the committee recommend passage of Council Bill 120480. Is there a second?
Second.
It is moved and seconded to recommend passage of Council Bill 120480. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Wu.
Yes.
Councilmember Moore.
Aye.
Councilmember Hollingsworth.
Aye.
Councilmember Morales.
Yes.
Chair Rivera.
Aye.
5 in favor and none opposed.
The motion carries, and the committee recommendation that council adopt Council Bill 120480 will be sent to the September 17th City Council meeting. Will the clerk please read agenda item 5 into the record?
Agenda item 5, Council Bill 120562, an ordinance relating to historic preservation, imposing controls upon the Fire Station 26, a landmark designated by the Landmarks Preservation Board under Chapter 2512 of the Seattle Municipal Code, and adding it to the table of historical landmarks contained in Chapter 2532 of the Seattle Municipal Code.
I move that the committee recommend passage of Council Bill 120562. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. It is moved and seconded to recommend passage of Council Bill 120562. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Wu.
Yes.
Councilmember Moore.
Aye.
Councilmember Hollingsworth.
Yes.
Councilmember Morales.
Yes.
Chair Rivera.
Aye.
5 in favor and none opposed.
The motion carries, and the committee recommendation that council adopt Council Bill 120562 will be sent to the September 17th City Council meeting. Will the clerk please read Agenda Item 6 into the record?
Agenda Item 6, Council Bill 120849, an ordinance relating to historic preservation, imposing controls upon the Bloch House, a landmark designated by the Landmarks Preservation Board under Chapter 2512 of the Seattle Municipal Code, and adding it to the table of historical landmarks contained in Chapter 2532 of the Seattle Municipal Code.
I move that the committee recommend passage of Council Bill 120849. Is there a second?
Second.
It is moved and seconded to recommend passage of Council Bill 120849. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Wu.
Yes.
Councilmember Moore.
Aye.
Councilmember Hollingsworth.
Yes.
Councilmember Morales.
Yes.
Chair Rivera.
Aye.
5 in favor and none opposed.
The motion carries, and the committee recommendation that council adopt Council Bill 120849 will be sent to the September 17th City Council meeting. Will the clerk please read Agenda Item 7 into the record?
Council Bill 120850, an ordinance relating to historic preservation, imposing controls upon the Continental Hotel, a landmark designated by the Landmarks Preservation Board under Chapter 2512 of the Seattle Municipal Code, and adding it to the table of historical landmarks contained in Chapter 2532 of the Seattle Municipal Code.
I move that the committee recommend passage of Council Bill 120850. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. It is moved and seconded to recommend passage of Council Bill 120850. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Wu.
Yes.
Councilmember Moore.
Aye.
Councilmember Hollingsworth.
Aye.
Councilmember Morales.
Yes.
Chair Rivera.
Aye.
5 in favor and none opposed.
The motion carries, and the committee recommendation that council adopt Council Bill 120850 will be sent to the September 17th City Council meeting. Will the clerk please read Agenda Item 8 into the record?
Agenda Item 8, Council Bill 120851, an ordinance relating to historic preservation, imposing controls upon the Beacon Hill Garden House, a landmark designated by the Landmarks Preservation Board under Chapter 2512 of the Seattle Municipal Code, and adding it to the table of historical landmarks contained in Chapter 2532 of the Seattle Municipal Code.
I move that the committee recommend passage of Council Bill 120851. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. It is moved and seconded to recommend passage of Council Bill 120851. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Wu.
Yes.
Councilmember Moore.
Aye.
Councilmember Hollingsworth.
Yes.
Councilmember Morales.
Yes.
Chair Rivera.
Aye.
5 in favor, none opposed.
The motion carries, and the committee recommendation that council adopt Council Bill 120851 will be sent to the September 17th City Council meeting. Will the clerk please read Agenda Item 9 into the record?
Agenda Item 9, Council Bill 120852, an ordinance relating to historic preservation, imposing controls upon the Cettolin House, a landmark designated by the Landmarks Preservation Board under Chapter 2512 of the Seattle Municipal Code, and adding it to the table of historical landmarks contained in Chapter 2532 of the Seattle Municipal Code.
I move that the committee recommend passage of Council Bill 120852. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Thank you. It is moved and seconded to recommend passage of Council Bill 120852. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Wu.
Yes.
Councilmember Moore.
Aye.
Councilmember Hollingsworth.
Yes.
Councilmember Morales.
Yes.
Chair Rivera.
Aye.
5 in favor, none opposed.
The motion carries, and the committee recommendation that council adopt Council Bill 120852 will be sent to the September 17th City Council meeting. Will the clerk please read Agenda Item 10 into the record?
Agenda Item 10, Council Bill 120853, an ordinance relating to historic preservation, imposing controls upon University of Washington's Anderson Hall, a landmark designated by the Landmarks Preservation Board under Chapter 2512 of the Seattle Municipal Code, and adding it to the table of historical landmarks contained in Chapter 2532 of the Seattle Municipal Code.
I move that the committee recommend passage of Council Bill 120853. Is there a second?
Second.
It is moved and seconded to recommend passage of Council Bill 120853. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Wu.
Yes.
Councilmember Moore.
Aye.
Councilmember Hollingsworth.
Yes.
Councilmember Morales.
Yes.
Chair Rivera.
Aye.
5 in favor and none opposed.
The motion carries, and the committee recommendation that council adopt Council Bill 120853 will be sent to the September 17th City Council meeting. All right, we got through it. I also want to note that my clerk, Gavin Haynes, is new. Thank you. You did an excellent job, and he's also a graduate of the University of Washington and has had classes at Anderson Hall. Thank you, Aaron and Sarah, for being here and for taking us through these great landmark designations and for all the work that you do every day to designate these buildings and keep this moving. So thank you. And also want to give a shout out to Lish Whitson with our central staff who works with the Department of Neighborhoods on these issues. Thank you. All right. Now, Aaron, you are going to stay as a presenter for the next part of this, which are our appointments. Will the clerk please read items 11 through 15 into the record?
Agenda items 11 through 15, reappointments 02997 through 03001. Reappointing Tabor Josie Canton, Ian McLeod, Lauren Ellen McKinney, Lawrence Norman, and Harriet M. Wasserman as members of the Landmark Preservation Board.
Thank you, clerk. We'll now hear from Aaron on these reappointments.
Thank you. And as these are reappointments, would you like me to read the biographical information for each of them? Okay, I'm just trying to be
Thank you,
mindful
Erin.
of the long agenda.
Yeah.
So Tabor Caton, this is a recommended reappointment for an architect position to August 14th, 2027. Ms. Caton is a registered landscape architect with more than 20 years of experience in construction and project management. Her work in Washington State and Rhode Island has been focused on historic landscapes and districts, with extensive work in the design of public spaces and engaging with community. Ms. Caton holds a Bachelor of Landscape Architecture and a Bachelor of Fine Arts from the Rhode Island School of Design, and she previously served on the Planning and Architectural Review Committee of the Providence Preservation Society. Her practical preservation experience as a landscape architect has been a real benefit to the board for the past 3 years, and we look forward to her reappointment. So next is a requested reappointment for Ian McLeod in the urban planning position to August 14, 2027. Mr. McLeod is a photojournalist working in the architecture and historic preservation fields. He holds a Master of Architecture and Certificate of Historic Preservation Studies from the University of Washington. He also has extensive coursework and project experience focused specifically in urban planning and preservation planning. Mr. McLeod has a minor degree in architectural history from his undergraduate studies, and this paired with his knowledge of planning, construction and building renovation, and the treatment of historic properties has made him a major contributor to the Architectural Review Committee and to the full Landmarks Board. Mr. McLeod currently serves as the board chair, and we are very grateful for his work and look forward to his reappointment. Next, we have Laura Ellen McKinney to be reappointed to a position as historian to August 14th, 2027. Dr. McKinney holds a PhD in clinical psychology from the University of Washington, a Master of Public Administration from Harvard University, and a certificate in environmental law and regulation from George Washington University. A former psychology practitioner and professor, she also has an extensive background in strategic planning and policy and currently has a consulting firm. Dr. McKinney has a love of architecture and history, valuing the stories of place and how they help to preserve the soul of a community. Dr. McKinney has worked with numerous local and national museums, serving on special committees, being a docent, and curating artifacts and documents from her family's collection that now reside in these institutions. Her research and writing led to the designation of Mount Zion Baptist Church as a Seattle landmark and its listing on the Washington State Heritage Register and the National Register of Historic Places. Dr. McKinney has been a highly valued member of the board, sharing her lifelong experience and knowledge of Seattle history, and we look forward to her reappointment. Next, we have Lawrence Norman for reappointment to an at-large position until August 14th, 2027. Mr. Norman is a software developer with more than 25 years of engineering and management experience and holds a Bachelor of Science and Arts from Evergreen College, including some work in architectural studies. He is a commercial property owner and manager, giving him a practical understanding of long-term building needs and their economic challenges. Mr. raised in Seattle and is interested in preserving architectural and cultural artifacts as a way of sharing history and supporting equity and investment in communities. We greatly appreciate his knowledge and participation on the board and look forward to his reappointment. Lastly, we have Harriet Wasserman to be recommended for an at-large reappointment, the at-large position, to August 14th, 2027. Ms. Wasserman has an academic background in computer science and chemistry and over 40 years of professional experience in information technology and consulting. For the last decade of her distinguished career, she was the IT Services Director at Seattle Central College, following 2 decades of instruction at the same institution. Ms. Wasserman served on the Site Planning and Capital Projects Committees at Seattle Central and has a lifelong interest in historic buildings. We've been very grateful for her insights on the board and her dedicated participation in the Architectural Review Committee meetings, and we look forward to her reappointment.
Thank you, Erin. Colleagues, do you have any comments or questions? See online? No? All right. Then I'm just going to say, like I always say, these reappointments are folks, these are volunteers, and they've signed up to do it again. So we were grateful the first time and grateful again. We really can't do this work without volunteers, and we are so grateful to have such experienced people on these boards and commissions. So thank you all for agreeing to do this again. Thank you, Erin and Sarah, for being here. And now, seeing no further questions or comments from my colleagues, I move that the committee recommend passage of reappointments 02997 through 03001. Is there a second?
Second.
It is moved and seconded to recommend passage of these reappointments. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Wu.
Yes.
Councilmember Moore.
Aye.
Councilmember Hollingsworth.
Yes.
Councilmember Morales.
Yes.
Chair Rivera.
Aye.
5 in favor, none opposed.
The motion carries, and the committee recommendation that council adopt reappointments 02997 through 03001 will be sent to the September 17th City Council meeting. Will the clerk please read items 16 through 18 into the record? And while you're doing that, we're going to be joined by Lydia Fitalia with the Department of Neighborhoods.
Agenda items 16 through 18. Appointments 03017 and 03019, Rochelle C. Olden and Hunter Campfield, and reappointment 03018, Cade Weiser to the Community Involvement Commission.
Thank you. These items have been read into the record. Lydia is going to take us through who these wonderful volunteers are in a minute. And she's also going to stay for the next group of appointments, which are going to be the Seattle Youth Commission appointments. Hi, Lydia.
Hello. Buenos dias and good morning, Chair.
Buenos
Rivera,
dias.
esteemed committee members. My name is Lydia Moira Baitalia. I work in our Department of Neighborhoods as the Civic Engagement Manager. My role is to serve as a connector between the Seattle Department of Neighborhoods and the city's diverse neighborhoods and communities with a focus on Black, Indigenous, and people of color communities, particularly Native and Indigenous groups. Leading the team of 5 employees, my position oversees the People's Academy for Community Engagement, also known as the PACE program, the Community Engagement Coordinators, and the following council boards and commissions: the Indigenous Advisory Council, the Seattle City Renters Commission, the Seattle Youth Commission, and the Community Involvement Commission. Today, I am pleased to present 3 appointments to the Community Involvement Commission and a reappointment. Thank you.
Lydia, do you want to speak on the appointments? Is it 2 or 3? Because I only have 2, Rochelle Olden and Hunter Campfield, and then as reappointments, and then Cade Weiser as the...
Yeah. We have a total of 3 CIC appointment, with the exception of one of those 3 is a Get Engaged member, now a mayoral appointment. So thank you for the clarification.
Okay. Do you want to talk about Rochelle, Hunter, and Cade?
Yep. That's what I have. Okay.
Thank you.
No worries. The community involvement in position 9, I am pleased to introduce the recommended appointment of Rochelle Olden, who is a at-large position. Rochelle is a seasoned professional with a rich and diverse background in marketing tech, international development, and social advocacy. Her career started with the U.S. Peace Corps in Dominican Republic and continued with impactful roles at the UN World Food Program in Liberia and World Vision International in Latin America. The next appointment in position 1, I am pleased to introduce the recommended appointment of Hunter Camfield, District 1, council position. Hunter is dedicated member of Seattle's recovery community and a proud University of Washington graduate, where he earned a degree in computer science in 2019. He has called Seattle home for 10 years, contributing to the community through various roles. With 13 years of experience in recovery community, Hunter has been committed to supporting young men in achieving and sustaining sobriety. Hunter is passionate about leveraging his personal experience and professional skills to advocate for the recovery community and beyond. The last appointee for the CIC in position 12, I am pleased to introduce the recommended appointment of Cade Weiger, a mayoral at-large position. Commissioner Weiger most recently served as a Get Engaged appointee and is currently the co-chair of the commission. Cade is studying sociology and human rights. Cade grew up passionate about public service, philanthropy, and getting involved in the community. Currently, he works with justice-involved individuals in a community-based setting. He aspires to create more equitable access to voting and local government for individuals involved in various systems, learning from the community where and what the gaps in access are. And that concludes us for the CIC appointments.
Thank you, Lydia. All right, colleagues, do you have any questions or comments? Okay. Seeing no questions.
Madam Chair, if that's okay.
Yes, Councilmember Hollingsworth.
Just want to thank Lydia for bringing these to anybody you recommend. I have a chance to know Lydia and went to the same class with her during the program. So thank you. It's really good to see you here at committee and for all the work that you're doing and the recommendations. So I just wanted to throw that out there, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Hollingsworth. All right, and I too am going to thank Lydia for all your work on the CIC, and then also again acknowledging that these folks are volunteer positions, and we're so grateful for their service, and our city is richer because we have these volunteers who want to give their time. So colleagues, with seeing no further questions, I move that the committee recommend passage of appointments 03017 through 03019. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Thank you. It is moved and seconded to recommend passage of the appointments. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Wu.
Yes.
Councilmember Moore.
Yes, aye.
Councilmember Hollingsworth.
Yes.
Councilmember Morales.
Yes.
Chair Rivera.
Aye.
5 in favor, none opposed.
The motion carries, and the committee recommendation that council adopt appointments 03017 and 03019 and reappointment 03018 will be sent to the September 17th City Council meeting. Will the clerk please read items 19 through 33 into the record?
Agenda items 19 through 33, appointments 03020 through 03034. Appointing Max Tagsip, Catherine Enriquez, Harrison Sumner, Penelope Harrington, Aisha Sinha Khan, Sabiyun, Sienna Raghavin, Bill Chen, Caleb Goldberg, Mohini Kaplan, Daniel Tu Lee, Anya Peterson, Lila Fu, Juliana Ariza, Sanyata Salva to the Seattle Youth Commission for terms to August 31st, 2026.
Thank you, Clerk. Lydia, please present our Seattle Youth Commission appointments. Very exciting.
Thank you, Chair. I am excited as well. Today, I am pleased to present 15 appointments to the Seattle Youth Commission. The Seattle Youth Commission is a group of 15 teens from all over the city who are appointed by the mayor and the city council to connect youth to local elected officials, advise on city policies, and discuss issues that youth in Seattle are facing. There is a youth commissioner representing each of the 7 city council districts, as well as 8 at-large commissioners. Starting with appointment 03020 in position 1, I am pleased to introduce the recommended appointment of Max Tagsip. Max is 13, representing District 1 in a and is a student at TOPS K through 8. His favorite subjects are science and history. Second appointment on the docket 03021 in position 2. I am pleased to introduce the recommended appointment of Catherine Enriquez. Catherine Enriquez is 17 years old, representing District 17, and is a student at Forest Ridge School of the Sacred Heart, and is founding member of the Neuro Youth Program. Appointment 03022 in position 3, I am pleased to introduce the recommended appointment of Harrison Sumner. Harrison Sumner is 15 years old, representing District 3, and is a sophomore at Eastside Preparatory School. Harry is active in his school's newspaper, Asian Club, and debate team. Appointment 03023 in position 4, I am pleased to introduce the recommended appointment of Penelope Harrington. Penelope Harrington is 16, representing District 4, and is a junior at Holy Names Academy, where she is part of the swim team and is in ASB. Appointment 03024 in position 5, I am pleased to introduce the recommended appointment of Aisha Sina Khan. Aisha Sina Khan is 15, representing District 5, and attends Lakeside School. Aisha enjoys rowing, writing for the school newspaper, and for herself. Appointment 03025 in position 6, I am pleased to introduce the recommended appointment of Sabi Yoon. Sabi Yoon is 16 years old, representing District 6, and is attending Ballard High School, and is one of the 3 appointed student board members for Seattle Public Schools. Appointment 03026 in position 7, I am pleased to introduce the recommended appointment of Sienna Rugiven. Sienna Rugiven is 17 years old, representing District 7, and is a student at Eastside Preparatory School. Sienna enjoys athletic, music, and community involvement. Position 8 to 15 are at-large position. The first one, appointment 03027, I am pleased to introduce the recommended appointment of Bill Chen. Bill Chen is 16, represent District 2, and is a student of Cleveland STEM High School. Bill has a long history of community service and working to better our shared city together. Appointment 03028, position 9, I am pleased to introduce the recommended appointment of Caleb Goldberg. Caleb Goldberg is 14 years old, and attends University Prep in Wedgwood. Caleb is working on mastering Hebrew, Spanish, and Yiddish. Appointment 03029 in position 10, I am pleased to introduce the recommended appointment of Mohini Kaplan. Mohini is 15 years old and attends Holy Names Academy. She is passionate about environmental sustainability and increasing mental health access. Appointment 03030 in position 11, I am pleased to introduce appointment of Daniel Lee. Daniel Lee is 16, representing District 5, and is a student in Ingram High School. He enjoys both playing sports and watching. Appointment 03031 in position 12, I am pleased to introduce the recommended appointment of Anya Peterson. Anya Peterson is 14 and is a student at Nathan Hale High School. Anya enjoys traveling and meeting people from different cultures and backgrounds. Appointment 03032 in position 13, I am pleased to introduce the recommended appointment of Leela Fu. Leela Fu is 15 years old and is a sophomore at Lincoln High School with a passion for both academics and creative pursuits. Appointment 03033, in position 14, I am pleased to introduce the recommended appointment of Juliana Arisa, who is 16 and is a student at Lincoln High School. Appointment 0304 in position 15, I am pleased to introduce the recommended appointment for Saniata Salva. Saniata Salva is 15. They are a junior at Middle College High School and is a full-time running start student at Seattle Central College. And before I end, I just want to say thank you for your hand in getting us through this process and also investing in our youth. So thank you very much. And the kickoff for the first Seattle Youth Commission meeting is October 12th. We will make sure to send out invitations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lydia, for presenting these wonderful young people who want to get engaged. I always say these young people are the future, our future. And so, you know, it's really terrific to see so many young people wanting to take on these volunteer positions and really get engaged. Colleagues, I see at least one person has a question or a comment. Councilmember Moore.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, this is just so exciting. I feel like a proud parent here. I've got 3 appointments from District 5. So I'm just so thrilled that they are going to have an opportunity to serve, and that they want to serve. I actually had a chance to meet with Aisha. She contacted me for my remote district hour, so I was very impressed, and we had a very, very good and interesting conversation. You know, she's first generation immigrant. She's had a deep focus on civil and human rights, really wanting to work on trying to incorporate more sensitivity in the substance use treatment arena to the needs of first and second generation immigrant and refugee families and youth. So I'm so thrilled we're going to have a perspective on the Youth Commission. As for Daniel Lee, I'm really thrilled to be again supporting youth mental health, and as an Ingram student coming from a place where we need that additional voice, I'm also really thrilled he's going to be able to elevate that perspective on the commission. And then lastly, Anya Peterson, who's been led the push for inclusion of non-binary bathrooms at Nathan Hale, and is a zealous advocate for inclusion and breaking down barriers. Also thrilled to support that appointment. So thank you so much for the opportunity to just call them out for their amazing contributions to date. And I know we're going to get to see lots more really impactful and important contributions on the Youth Commission. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Moore. Any other colleagues? All right. Then before we take our vote, we'll just want to recognize Lydia again. Thank you for all the work that you do, because you staff this commission and the CIC as well. And that is also such a important role. And so thank you for shepherding in particular these young people in what may be one of their first experiences, but hopefully not their only, in civic engagement. And this is where it starts. So hopefully one of these kids someday, I'm sure, might be sitting up here or be mayor or be president of the United States. I would love to see that. And I echo Councilmember Moore's feeling of a proud parent. I'm getting chills actually, because this is, as a mom, just makes me the proudest to see these young people so engaged. And I also want to recognize Department of Neighborhoods Director Jennifer Chow, who's in the audience. Thank you and your team for all that you do throughout our communities, throughout all the districts in Seattle. So thank you. All right, now colleagues, I move that the committee recommend passage of appointments 03020 through 03034 is this right? Sorry, guys. I think I got so excited, I'm off track. Okay, 03020 through 03034. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Thank you, colleagues. It is moved and seconded to recommend passage of these appointments. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Wu.
Yes.
Councilmember Moore.
Aye.
Councilmember Hollingsworth.
Aye.
Councilmember Morales.
Yes.
Chair Rivera.
Aye.
5 in favor, none opposed.
Thank you, clerk. The motion carries, and the committee recommendation that council adopt appointment 03020 through 03034 will be sent to the September 17th City Council meeting. Thank you, Lydia, again. All right, colleagues, if there are no further questions or comments, this concludes the September 12th, 2024 meeting of the Libraries, Education, and Neighborhoods Committee. Seeing no questions or comments, I just want to thank again Gavin Haynes, my clerk, who joined our office recently. We're so happy and grateful to have him join our team. He's a great addition, so thank you, Gavin. Our next committee meeting is scheduled for Thursday, December 12th, 2024 at 9:30. If there is no further business, this meeting will adjourn. Hearing no further business, it's 11:04 a.m. and this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.